Hey, what's up guys, Disc Golf here, and today, well, it's Thursday, so it's another top list video. And I was thinking about what do people not throw in their bag a lot? Because you know everybody's going to have a Destroyer, or everybody throws an AVR. It's not an uncommon disc. A ton of people around the world use these discs, and it's not very hard to see a lot of pros using these bags. It's pretty familiar. But then I was thinking, I throw this, a JLS. Not many people throw a JLS, or not many people even know what Millennium Disc Golf or Millennial Discs is, and what their product or what they use, what kind of discs they have, and what they have to offer. And I was thinking, you know, people throw Leopards or people throw Explorers for their straight shot, and I throw a JLS, and that just kind of got me thinking, what kind of pros do they use that not a lot of other people use? So let's get right into this with this number 5 spot. Coming in the number 5 spot, we have Nate Sexton and his dart. You don't really hear a lot of pros throwing a dart, and I actually can't think of any pros off the top of my head except Nate Sexton that throws a dart. He uses the dart for dead straight shots up to maybe 300 feet if the wind is right, for long approach shots or maybe long jump putts. He really feels confidence in this, and it might be because of the small diameter and the small rim that gives him the ability to be able to put a little bit more spin on his putt, especially with him being a straddle putter and his jump putt maybe not going as far as other people. The rim and the shallowness and the diameter might help him out. So that number 5, the dart from Nate Sexton. I mean, the number 4 spot, Des Readings. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, but his Tour Series disc is actually a Stingray. And I feel especially nowadays, you don't hear a lot of people throwing Stingrays. It was an older disc, one of the first models from Innova, and not a lot of people throw them anymore. It has a super thin rim, so you can actually get your fingers or your hand to feel really nice in that. And if you're smaller hand players, this disc is a go-to for most of them. But it's a very understable mid-range for you to be able to flip it up nice, go straight right to the right, or even finish with a turnover. And you really don't hear a lot of people from Innova throwing a Stingray because the mid-range game is basically dominated by the rock. And a lot of people, for their understable, either throw in a beat-in rock or even a Mako 3 or a Mako. But then Des actually goes with the Stingray. And it's awesome to see players like this using different discs to their advantage and not just sticking with a boring old rock. Number 3, we have MJ and his Banger GT. If you've ever seen this disc, you know it's just weird. And not a lot of people throw the Banger just because it's very unusual disc. It has a little divot going around the inner part of the disc. So I personally have never thrown a GT or a Banger GT, but I think maybe you put your thumb in there, or I really don't know. But MJ makes them look beautiful. And I know Brian Earhart also has been really liking the Banger GT. And it's just not a disc that you see a lot thrown, especially from disc golf players, because you don't really want to step out of your comfort zone or a disc that might look unusual. But MJ, he makes these things look perfect, and he should keep throwing them because they're awesome. Coming in number 2, we have Garret Gurthie and his Sonic. He makes this thing look so pretty when he flies it through the air. And actually, Innova but this summer released the Garret Gurthie Tour Series Sonics, and they were awesome. They were so pretty. And this disc is like a normal catch and throw frisbee. And Garret makes his approach or his long putts with these things. He makes them in from everywhere, man. He is crazy. He actually has a putt for part of the year from Utility Disc Golf. Not Utility, sorry, Ulti, or I really don't know how to pronounce it. But he has one of the he's in the quarterfinals, and he had this awesome turnover putt, and this thing just glides, and literally you can just put this thing up. Or Garret puts this thing up, and he just makes it look so nice in the air, because he's basically just point and catch frisbee kind of that whole old style frisbee feel. And Garret throws a Sonic, and it's in his bag, and not a lot of people throw it. Not a lot of people actually even know what a Sonic is, but Garret Gurthie makes this thing look amazing. Before we go into the number 1 unorthodox or unusual disc thrown by a pro, I have 2 honorable mentions that almost made the list. The first honorable mention is Barry Schultz and his Condor, and the only reason I didn't put this in is because I only got someone from Reddit telling me that he threw it. I didn't have any confirmation anymore, and if there is confirmation, can you leave it in the comment section below, and he would be coming in on this list. But a condor is almost like an ultimate frisbee type of disc. The diameter is bigger than a normal disc, and if Barry Schultz throw this thing, I'd be impressed. The next honorable mention is Eagle McMahon and his Max. This thing is the most overstable disc that I've seen, besides the Stego, so the most overstable driver. And Eagle throws this thing for, I've seen him throw grenades, flex sidearm shots, even some big spike hyzers. And not a lot of people throw the Max just because it is so overstable and you really can't get that much distance. But Eagle has a big arm and he's crushing these things. So now, let's go into the #1 most unusual disc thrown by a pro. And that one's going to be a little surprise. We're going to go back to how I was talking about Millennium Disc Golf, or Millennium Discs, and Scorpius. This disc is Gregg Barsby's World Championship disc for Millennium. And he says this thing flies a little bit less stable than a Destroyer, and he puts out great sidearm shots. If you ever really seen Gregg Barsby, if you've seen the Worlds, you see him pumping out big flex or big just sidearm shots. That's his Scorpius, and he makes this thing look so phenomenal. And it's a disc that not a lot of people even heard of, or a company that people have heard of, and he makes their discs look so amazing, and they really are. And I would really like to show this list, because you can see that pros don't throw the same discs, or the same discs that everybody throws. You can step out of that orthodox range, and you can come up with discs like Gregg Barsby won a world championship throwing his main distance driver being a Scorpius. Have you heard of a Scorpius? Because I know a lot of people haven't. So it just can be seen that you guys can throw different things. Don't feel ashamed or embarrassed. Don't let anybody ridicule you for throwing a disc that you love. Throw what you want and throw what works for you. But that was the top 5 most unusual discs thrown by pros. If you guys know any other more unusual discs, put them in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys think about my list. But that's all I got today, guys. Make sure you keep throwing.